Walmart is the world's biggest company by revenue. At over $500 billion turnover, the retail giant operates in 27 countries, offering affordable goods the world over. It's safe to say that Walmart is now a global giant, but it had to start somewhere, and that was with Sam Walton. Like a lot of other companies, Walmart's roots are very modest, and has a very common origin story. One person's determination and drive plus a very clear business model takes one idea and allows it to develop into something huge. It's difficult to imagine Walmart as anything other than an ever-present brand with warehouse-style stores offering pretty much anything the consumer needs at a reasonable price. But the company has an almost 80-year history, and Sam Walton himself would have been over 100 years old had he not passed away in 1992 at the age of 74. In this video, we're going to chart the rise of Walton and Walmart as one man's desire to succeed. From turning an existing store into an area leader, through going it alone and using rural areas to creep up on retail giants, we'll chart Walton's journey as well as all the struggles and successes that came with it. Walmart might not be the most luxurious brand, but the same can't be said of this channel. So to get your luxury fix, remember to like this video and subscribe to Rich and Wealthy for more top quality videos. But for now, let's look at how Sam Walton founded a $420 billion company. Walton began his career in the retail business in 1940, from modest beginnings working for J.C. Penney in Des Moines, Iowa. Despite being a very enthusiastic worker, he wasn't the most thorough, which led to issues. His paperwork was a mess, and he didn't like to make customers wait, so he was on the verge of getting fired due to his poor bookkeeping. Fortunately for Walton, his natural sales skills saved him, and he added about $25 per month in commissions to his beginner salary. Walton served stateside as a communications officer in the Army Intelligence Corps for the duration of World War II. At the end of the war, and with a family to support, Walton decided to go back to retail but strike out on his own. With $5,000 of his own money and $20,000 that he borrowed from his father-in-law, at 27, Walton purchased a Ben Franklin variety unit, one of several five and dime stores. This store in Newport, Arkansas, through hard work and a policy of pricing products well below what other retailers charged, became the leading Ben Franklin store in a 6-state region. Walton's landlord picked up on this and decided to acquire the business for his son. Sam had no intention of selling, so the landlord simply refused to renew his lease, and this marked a huge setback in Walton's plans. But determined to continue, he searched the rural towns of Arkansas for a new place to do business. Bentonville, with its small community, offered this. He set up shop in the town square with a 99-year lease. Walton's Five and Dime was opened in the summer of 1950. He successfully undercut local rivals as he had done before and started to turn some serious profit, this time under his own name. We love making videos on those that turn a hefty profit, so be sure to keep up to date with more luxurious lives by liking this video and subscribing to our channel. For now, on with our story. Walton started to expand his empire. Throughout the 50s, using borrowed money and the profits from stores he already owned, Walton then owned 15 stores. Despite this, his profits weren't as expected for the amount of time and effort he was putting in. So he decided to adopt a new strategy and dramatically cut prices. He hoped to undercut his competition and make up for the difference in price through a higher volume of sales. This would become a Walmart trend for decades to come. Although this kind of tactic was already being used by stores at the time, Walton wanted to do this in rural areas, which was unique at the time. After seeking backing from the Franklin store finances, he was pushed back after he revealed plans for cutting wholesale margins in half. So he decided to finance the idea himself at a huge risk, mortgaged his home, borrowed all he could, and opened his first Walmart in Rogers, Arkansas. His plan paid off. Although other big-name stores were discounting heavily, they weren't doing it in rural areas like Walmart. Local customers flocked to the stores and sales soared. Walton expanded again, and by 1969, there were 18 Walmarts throughout Arkansas and Missouri. To finance further expansion, in 1970 he decided to take the company public. The initial offering generated nearly $5 million. This was a huge step, as Walton and his family, armed with 61% of stock, had the backing to take the company to the next level. By the end of 1980, Walmart had 276 stores and would soon be opening stores at the staggering rate of about 100 per year. 3 years later, Walton launched his first of his clubs, aimed at small business owners buying merchandise in bulk. This was another successful move and led to Forbes magazine pronouncing him the richest man in America in 1985, with an estimated worth of $2.8 billion. By 1987, only Sears and Kmart were selling more. In 1988, having turned Walmart into a national giant, he handed CEO reins over to executive David Glass, with Walton overseeing things as chairman. Before his death in 1992, Walton was still very active at the company and was determined to make Walmart the biggest retailer in the country. Walton predicted that the company's revenue would quintuple to $125 billion within the next decade. And in the early 90s, Walton's store soared past Kmart and Sears to become the nation's biggest retailer. Less than a month before his death, Walton was presented with the Medal of Freedom for his entrepreneurial spirit and his concern for his employees and community. He had been suffering for years with bone cancer, and a few days after receiving the honour, Walton checked into the University of Arkansas Hospital before passing away on April 5, 1992. At this point, he had a net worth of nearly $25 billion. Walton left behind him a retail legacy, and for the fiscal year ending in January 2020, Walmart's total revenue was $524 billion. The company employs 2.2 million people around the world in 11,766 store locations. From its humble beginnings in rural Arkansas, the company expects to clear $38 billion in online revenue in 2020 and cement itself as the world's biggest retailer. So that's the end of our list. What are your thoughts on Walmart? Why not let us know in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this video, give us a like. If you want to see more top quality videos on luxury, be sure to hit that subscribe button and you'll get the latest videos straight to your mailbox. Thanks again for watching and stay luxurious.